Samsung TV in a constant boot loop, and this is the video for you. Don't forget everything used in the video today. There are links in the description below for the best place to get those home cinema products. Make sure you check those out at the end of this video. Hi movie fans, welcome back to the channel. So today we've been looking at a Samsung TV that's got a boot loop. And this was listed as just turning on and off with a blue screen. Thought it'd be a pretty easy fix, and it came complete with a few things that came with it. So let's jump in, have a look at what it is, see what the issue is, and then see if we can get this fixed to stop it going into a landfill. Right, so here we've got a Samsung 55-inch LED 3D TV. There's no marks on the screen whatsoever. It's not cracked, looks absolutely in mint condition. So the model number is a UA55D6400 LED TV. These were made from around 2015, so it's just come up to 10 years old. Whether it was purchased in 2015 or later, it depends when the Series 6 finished when they purchased this TV. Looking at the rear, all our buttons are on the back, so we've got our on-off button, our channels up and down, volumes up and down, menu button and source button. Our power connection, where our universal power lead goes in. So looking at the connections on the back, I'd say this one is the later model of the Series 6 because it hasn't got the normal components. You need an attachment for that component in to use any standard component, video and audio. Then we've got our composite connection. Again, you need a converter to use that. We've got headphone socket, LAN support, and our antenna. So we've got 3 USB connections on the back. So if you want to use a Fire Stick, you can use a Fire Stick with it. You can also get a wireless adapter if you want to connect this wirelessly to the internet. And then we've got 4 HDMIs. So it did come with a swivel stand as well. Came with an unused remote, which we'll have a look in a second. It came with a pair of glasses, meant to be 3D glasses. But it looks like we've got some real 3D ones that don't actually work with this TV. So we've got the box for the 3D glasses. Luckily I've got loads of these glasses anyway because we've got our projector and our previous Samsung 3D TV as well. We've got a sensor for using a universal remote with other accessories with your TV. And then we've got the unused remote here. That's a pretty smart remote control. I think this is a touchpad as well. I'll have to read upon this. If you've used one of these controls, let me know in the comments down below. But you can see it's still got all the plastic covering it, so it hasn't been used at all. I'm assuming they've been using their phone or a phone app to work the TV. And then we got the user manual that came with it, which gives us instructions on the remote control. And you can use a normal Samsung remote. I have got one of these remotes, so I'll probably be using that with this TV until I figure out how to use the other one. So let's get this plugged in, turn the lights off, and we'll see what the issue is. So at the moment it's in standby, so here's what happens when we turn it on. So it's coming on, but what it'll do is it'll just keep booting on and off. So it's done for a couple of seconds. Backlights look like they're working, and then it will turn off like so, and it's back on again, and it will turn off again. So that is the issue we've got to sort out. So as you can see, it is boot looping. It's staying on for around 14 seconds and then turning off instantly for about a second or two and then turning back on. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do, try and give it a system reset. To do a hard reset, all you do is press the power button to turn the TV on and then hold that volume button down constantly until the TV reboots. Right, so we've tried the factory reset. All that was activating the TV with the on button and then pressing and holding the volume button down until that TV reboots. It kept rebooting, didn't jump into the menu system or anything, just stayed like a blacky blue screen. So I think we're going to have to take the back off and just double check everything else first. The next thing we're going to do is obviously remove the back and check the boards. Right, so first up, we've just removed the stand. So I've removed the stand already. You're going to put it on a table, and what you want to do is lay it down on a old towel or blanket just to stop you scratching that screen, and make sure that the whole part of the TV is supported because you've got to undo all these screws from around the edges. Just going to remove that center panel. With the center panel removed, now you can see we've got the main power board on the right, and then we've got our main PCB on the left. First, we want to check it's the backlight, so we're just going to disconnect the main board, make sure there's no power running to television. Because we've unplugged it from the main board PCB, this is going to check whether there's any power issues with the main power board. Got a power lead in, and we're going to turn that on at the main switch. As you can see, we've disconnected that power lead from the main board. The LEDs are staying on, so there's not an issue with the power. The LEDs are staying on, they're not in that boot mode anymore. So we know the LEDs are fine and the main power board's working perfectly. Now we're going to unplug it and just leave it for 30 seconds for the power to drain. So now we're just jumping into the next board. So we'll reconnect that power cable to the main board, and we're going to disconnect the ribbon cable that runs to the TCON board. And now we've disconnected the ribbon cable from the timing control board, and the LEDs are staying on again, so we know there's no issue with the main board. We did remove the outer part of the TV and access the TCON port. I'll put a picture on the screen now. I did forget to record before I got the TV back together. So what you've got to do is release those two ribbon cables at the bottom just to check the screen's not causing this, so you're not getting a short. There is a fix for that, but if this hasn't got that issue, with both those ribbon cables removed from the screen, this should stay on. Otherwise, it's definitely a software issue. Now, because it's still rebooting, I've checked all those issues. It's not the TCON board that's causing it to reboot. It's not the main board, and it's not the power board. So it has to be a software issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try a hard reset again, but I'm going to do that with the actual TV. So press that, and then we're going to hold the volume down button. So I'm going to keep pressing this every time it goes off, and then hold it while the TV's on for those 14 seconds. I'm going to do this for around 25 cycles, and then I'm going to leave the TV to see if it sorts itself out, if it doesn't reboot. So I left the TV for around 2 hours to do its own thing. It was going consistently on and off still after me pressing that button 25 times, which was around 5 or 10 minutes to do that. I left it consistently, went back in, and it had actually turned off. So hopefully this TV is now working. Right, so the TV did turn itself off, so I'm assuming it has rebooted eventually. Just went out, left it to its own devices, came back, and it had turned off. So it obviously got into that power save mode after it had reset. So let's see if she works. And it's worked. There we go. So we should be able to go into the menu system. There we go. So the menu system's all working. We can adjust the picture, the sound, channels, network. So what we'll do is we'll try Blu-ray first. We'll just double check the system. Okay, so everything's working on the menu system. All of that works. Go across, we can adjust the brightness. All those seem to work. We've got the 3D options there as well to adjust the depth and perspective of the 3D. We'll have a look, try 3D Blu-ray in it in a second to see if that's still working. So go back out of this. Right guys, so the TV did go back into a reboot. I made the mistake of going into the apps and trying to select one of the apps. So it's definitely a software issue with this TV and using the apps. What I'll do is I'll get a Fire Stick for it to use any apps. If you've got this issue, do not connect it to the internet. I connected this to the internet. I deleted one of the apps, tried to run 7 Plus, and it just shut down and started rebooting again. So it's definitely a software issue on the TV. But we can use an external app, and I've got a Blu-ray player that will let me use apps on this TV as well, so I can do it that way. So there's no issue using the TV. So second time round, it took around an hour for it to reset. I had to go through the same process of pressing that on off button and the volume down button to get it to reboot. And eventually it did reboot. I had to leave it and it just did it itself again. So now second time round, it's working again. So we'll turn it back on, and it's come up smart TV. This has been a 2-day process, so it's been a pretty long process to get it working. So now we've got it all working again, we'll run a Blu-ray on it and see if that works, and then we'll run a 3D Blu-ray. So we've got it running I Am Legend on Blu-ray. The lines down the screen, you can see on the camera, it's not visually on the TV, it's just picking it up on the camera for some reason. It's like recording an old CRT. You must just get that with LED TVs. I don't seem to get that with my LCD when I'm recording videos. But it looks like it's playing it fine. It's not shutting down. Let's skip forward. It's a very quiet film, which is good. Blu-rays play fine on it. So we've got a free TV, and all it was a software issue that just needed resetting. If you have got this issue again, like I said, I'd get a external dongle with a Fire Stick or something. Don't try using the apps if you've got this television, because it might shut down again, and then you've got like hours trying to get it to reboot again by using that reboot system, and hopefully it turns back on. I mean, I was lucky, this is the second time round and it's came back on, purely because I went into those apps and tried to use one of those apps, and that must be what's messing with the software. So we'll try 3D Blu-ray now and see what happens. Let's just skip forward to a scene, but you can see that's working, so that's fantastic. We've got a free TV. The sound on it at the moment seems a little bit distorted out of that right speaker, so it might need a new speaker. That's not going to make any issues to me, purely because I don't use TV speakers anyway. I use a surround sound system or a sound bar. Don't forget, if you use the video today, there are links in the description below for the best place to get those home cinema products. Make sure you check those out at the end of this video. Right, so I enjoyed the video, and as you can see, it's really simple to fix. So my advice is, if you have this issue, try that fix at first. It might not work every time because of the speed that it's turning on and off, but it is a really simple fix if you've got software issues or update issues and it's just not loaded. Basically, it's a corrupted update and it's just not loading it correctly, and it causes that boot loop. If it isn't that issue, then obviously go down the other route by testing the boards to see whether it is your TCON board, your main board, or a power issue. So thank you for watching. Keep supporting the physical media, and I'll catch you in the next one.